Try to imagine something that doesn't exist, something you've never seen. Now concentrate on how it makes you feel and let your hand drift across the canvas. God.
Do you like video games?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you like four dudes rambling incoherently about it?
Maybe.
Are you somehow going to be at Visual Arts Expo and not know what to do at 4 p.m. day one?
Yep.
Oh, maybe.
Live from Shah Alam Convention Center, dia.log live. That's right, we said live twice. We talk about video games in parentheses. That's right, the first panel entirely in parentheses. dia.log live from Shah Alam Convention Center, Vax day 1, 4 p.m. Get your tickets now.
What did I miss?
So, when are we starting?
What do you miss? We are already starting game. We are already starting, man. So welcome to dia.log, the Game Matters podcast.
That's a damn long intro.
People don't hear the full thing. Please never mind. You guys, we have some behind the closed doors talk, and suddenly the door open and we start the show. So here we go. And this is the 10th episode. Yeah, we have reached double digits now. Double digits. Good show.
Wow.
Episode X.
Oh, don't propose that we need to change to Roman numerals now.
Only for episode 10. Only for episode 10 we switched to the Roman numerals. Yeah.
Okay, just for 10. Okay, we can do it. And joining us on the panel for this episode, we have 5 people on the call. First up is Wan Amirul. Wam, say hello. Next on the list, we have Daniel. Say hello, Daniel.
Hello.
And next on the list, of course, we have Anand. Don't say Anand, say hello.
Hello.
And our extra guest, well, not really guest because it's part of the Game Matters crew, but still our extra member of the party for this episode. Stowaway.
Well, I'm being called an extra.
No, don't. We don't want to throw him that early. Irham, say hello, Irham.
Hi.
See, he's the loudest on the call for those who are hearing the episode right now.
If you have like a proper microphone, I'm just using my computer's like built-in microphone.
Oh, really? Nice.
No. I'm still thinking about buying one, a condenser type, instead of using a headphone like that guy using HyperX. Currently still using the laptop's microphone.
Oh, really? Your laptop's microphone is pretty loud. Or is it your room a bit spacey?
My room a bit spacey.
A bit spacey.
We shall not, in this house, we shall not mention more than one time of Kevin Spacey. And your lovely host, Amirul Macronos Ashraf, rounding up the list. And we have a lot of things to talk about video games and stuff not about video games.
Before we officially start the podcast, I just need, since you brought the Kevin Spacey thing, I need to bring up a really funny thing. So my friend and I have, we talk shit about David Cage as a hobby.
Well, that explains a lot.
So that's why we have so much input. The other day I had a genuine moment of confusion where I couldn't remember how much of what we said was actual David Cage fuckery and how much of it was exaggerated for memes. I was like, this is my friend's name is Sam, so I was just like messaging him like, hey, was the Ellen Page folder real, or did we make that up because he's so weirdly in love with Ellen Page? And he's like, I don't know. You're gonna have to look that up. And I looked it up. Holy shit, it's real. David Cage, why? It's really creepy. He had
What do you
photos
mean,
of her
why?
when she was 8.
What do you mean, why?
The keyword here is since 8. Put your red
Ah.
alerts on. Red alerts on. The cops will see. We'll get to that later.
David
Shadow.
Cage.
So yeah, and one thing I forgot to do before we start the whole thing is decide the order of what the things that we want to talk about, or are we going to just go through in order of our docket here? I totally forgot about this one.
Anyone want to talk about? Let's start with a game that someone has played this week, because a lot of this topic is not games that we've played this week.
That's the thing. Our main segment of what you've been up to is not really about video games for some reason or another.
We're all tired. Like there's no new games out for us to try, and that's why.
But there's
We're not tired. We just lack of money to get a game. That's about it.
Sponsors.
And we don't have the platform to do so most of the time. Example,
Yo.
Switch.
Ready? Man, we need to have a quota for that also. In this house, we only say that once or twice. Never mind. Okay, so at least one of us is a very happy boy to the point that a lot of misadventures happen. Daniel? Oh, Daniel. I need I've heard that you almost burned your house, but you got a PS4, so it's okay.
Was it a ritual? Were you making a satanic ritual to get a PS4?
No.
Did you summon a greater demon out of the ground? You're like, yeah.
FGO summoning. You gotta sacrifice something.
I think there was a meme before that. Maybe like real life is like the Sims game, and like and like you might forget what you're doing. So I had that moment last week. I was cooking spaghetti for 5 minutes. And, oh shit! I had spaghetti on the stove.
Oh, that kind of moment. To be fair, I had that close calls a lot like the past 2 months, so that's also another thing as well. Level 1 cooking, Again, if you've played the Sims, you should know better that do not put your Sims at level 1 cooking. No, without even a level 1 cooking to use the stuff, because fires can happen unless that is your intention.
Oh man, I remember when I was a kid, I made kill rooms to murder all my Sims in. It's just like lots and lots of ovens stacked next to each other. So...
You make firehouse, remove the door. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And your old swimming pools, remove the ladders. But I think the latest Sims games don't have that because they can climb up. But that was hilarious back in Sims 1. So yeah,
Sims
Daniel,
2
PS4.
was free.
Oh yeah, I finally have a PS4 after so long, and now it's fun. I guess. It's like 1,001, so it's by far the cheapest I've gotten anything.
And it was a bundle, right?
Ironically, it's the FIFA bundle.
That is plays FIFA.
You plebs.
Yeah, it's 1,001 plus, so yeah, I'm okay.
But the game though.
Okay, outside of FIFA, what other games you play? Okay, sorry for dunking on FIFA, guys. If you play FIFA, I'm sorry, and I know that
you suck.
I know a lot of people play FIFA, but I'm not sure if there are listeners of dia.log, the Gaming Matters podcast. If you are, you can add me on Twitter and say I played FIFA and you suck. Okay, Daniel, back to you.
Right. You know, there's only two types of players of PS4, right? Those who play games and only those who play FIFA.
And
Are
your
we gonna get a
case?
20-hour rant on FIFA now? Like,
I had the team map for one and I lost 8-0. So yep, that's how. That's what
Okay, I kid you not, okay? There have been a few events, let's say event promotions in my campus. So before the event, they do promotion, right? And usually they have this this leisure corner or something, leisure, I was say, leisure camp something. There's PS4 in it, and it's always been FIFA, no other
oh
game.
my god, my uni
FIFA.
as well, tau.
I cannot brain how that you got PS4 only. I asked, okay, you guys have other game? No, only FIFA. Okay.
I
Okay.
had
campus
like
love
kat,
getting instead. Woo!
at my uni, right? There's like this alleyway that memang like every time someone has a fundraiser, they always have booths set up there, and there'll always be one booth yang has a PS4. They have like a few fighting games, but usually no one's playing because who's gonna pay money just to play a PS4? So there'll always just be this one bro just sitting there playing FIFA, and just like, just let me bring my copy of Dark Souls 3. I will gather people at your thing. Just because the hypnotic power of people backseat Dark Soulsing will draw
Are
people to
so
your booth.
strong. The people want to show off they are so good in Dark Souls and they're gonna take turns. Like, I'm so good at it. You die,
No,
my turn, my turn.
They never tell you what. They never like actually play. They crowd around you to tell you how to play. Like, oh, you shouldn't have taken that weapon. You should have gone for a dex
Oh
build.
yeah, one of those people like, oh, I can backseat you to do better, but in the end they don't even play.
I love
Yeah.
backseat gaming.
I cannot. I get too geram. Like,
Disgusting.
it's why I watch less Let's Plays now. Like, I don't watch Let's Plays for big games because, like, if I already have the game, my urge to backseat becomes too strong. I'm like, no, cannot.
Oh, speaking of that, I love reading people backseating gaming on Let's Plays and their comments are, yo, why you put this skill? Huh? Why are you doing this? You should put this.
Oh my god.
You know, like I've been watching like Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE being played, and that's a very specific RPG where you know, like Persona and the Shin Megami Tensei that inspire it. You get to pick the skills that you want to inherit and forget. And some of the choices, of course they are playing the game, so and talking about some stuff outside of the game. So they the you say the attention to the game itself is pretty not 100%. So they'll have that like lapses of here and there, and people keep on shouting in the comments. Oh my god.
It's like Game Grumps. Like, people always yell at Game Grumps for not like paying attention to shit.
But still, I like to read it though. And they don't and even the Let's Players, they know the situation. They don't care. They're just happy with it. But they do take notes afterwards. Like after like 5 or 10 episodes, then they respond to the comments. So we're talking about FIFA, or was it? I don't know. Where were we now?
Yeah, we were talking about FIFA. It's just me and Anand went off on a rant about like bros and their FIFA bros.
FIFA 18 have issues with Ronaldo.
They need to
Did you guys heard that news?
news.
Did you guys heard that news?
Yep. So for those
It's so weird.
So for those who did not tune in, Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the top players in the world, the football players in the world, who has already been announced to be the cover star for FIFA 19. You can see the promo art I'm putting on the YouTube image. The promo art is showing him in the Real Madrid kit. Recently, he just announced that he's moving to the Serie A, to Juventus. So that means all the promo material have to change. You'll need to show him using another kit. It's a similar situation to PES, I think last year or this year, where Neymar was gracing the cover. He was a Barcelona player at the time, and then before the game release, he signed to what's that Paris club again? PSG.
SG.
Yeah, PSG. It's the same it's a similar situation. So the folks, the FIFA folks who dunked on PES for haha, you announced too early. Well, karma.
I mean, surely, like when they took the photo, right? They would have had insider knowledge that this was happening. So he's probably like just wearing a green shirt, and they just kind of green screen on the jerseys.
They'll probably do that. Don't worry, because Nema.
With the power of Photoshop, anything can happen.
This in my like no lie, in my After Effects editing class, we were literally taught how to add sponsors in post.
Oh, cool.
Yo.
Like yeah, I was like, holy shit. So I made an athlete have a Nazi armband or something like that.
Well done.
Well,
Well done.
Godwin law.
that's application
plus.
of knowledge there. When knowledge is applied. No. Okay, so are we going to move to another topic, or Daniel, do you have anything to add?
I seriously cannot hear
I
that.
heard a buzz. Was it? That's about it.
Okay, so that's a good signal to this is the problem when we need to move on to the next topic without any preparation. I have no segue game, so and the problem
okay.
is I don't know what are we going to talk about next. Or do you guys want me to?
Let's talk about Hanzo. Hanzo's a piece of shit. Why has Hanzo spam reached gold rank?
What do you mean he is a piece of shit? Did you play Overwatch? No, right? Shut the fuck.
I did. I played earlier. I played before they limited hero selection in quick play, where I had like 5 Hanzo on my team.
Oh, that was season
that's
1.
That's too old, okay? You're not qualified to talk about it now.
Oh,
Yep.
denied by Overwatch expert. Anand, take it away.
Okay, so few weeks back, okay, Hanzo received a rework. Oh yeah,
really?
it's a rework.
Oh.
Yeah. So instead of scatter arrow, it has been changed to called storm arrow. So instead of you bouncing arrows that divide into multiple pieces, which pretty much which inflict high damage, which people pretty much say bullshit damage, everything, because it can pretty much kill tank.
One
You can
shot
kill a
people.
tank. Yeah, one shot, even one shot a tank with scatter arrow. Okay, so people call it bullshit, and then they say, okay, Blizzard, please change because this scatter kill is bullshit. Okay, Blizzard, okay, fine. And then we'll change to something called Storm Arrow. Okay, the Storm Arrow, you got you activate it, and then you got 8 arrows, I believe. 8
Six.
arrows. Six arrows. You don't have to charge it, so you basically can shot it, and then it's so fast. It's borderline hit scan, and it does damage with headshot damage. So you can still kill tanks, but you need to aim. And it's been and then the base arrow has also been increased in fly speed. I believe it's 10% or 15%. I'm not sure, but the speed has been increased. Okay, so the result of this say rework is that it takes lower skill to be effective with Hanzo, and the spammability increase. And with that, the higher rank games like GM, Masters, top 500s, okay, the only let's say the only heroes, DPS heroes there are the 2 snipers, Widowmaker and Hanzo. Widowmaker and Hanzo. Okay, before this, usually the Hanzo players are pretty much very good players. If you are good at Hanzo, you own everyone. Like if you have like some inconsistency with Hanzo, you basically should not play him. Okay, now there's a lot more leeway in terms of your leading your arrows, everything, to the point where even the gold rank, so I play in gold rank, mid gold or something. Before this, I don't feel oppressed by Hanzo at all. Maybe like rare cases where he has a really good mechanic, okay, really good Hanzo mechanic, okay, and fine, okay, he got skill. Now, pretty much like every other games have Hanzo, and he got his ultimate, the we call Dragon, the Dragon ultimate, every single team fight. I'm like, holy shit, Hanzo is really good even down in low rank now. Like the frustration, the frustration comes down to gold rank now. I cannot imagine Hanzo is not effective in gold. if you ask this like people like 1 year ago, they will tell you, are you drinking or something? Yeah, that's how oppressive he is.
I think to add up about Hanzo being so good is about the Zarya Rhine meta, plus with
Yeah,
the bullshit Brigade. So you
yeah,
can run with solo healer, with break. It's kind of like double healer, but break doesn't count as healer.
yeah.
So it's kind of like you can just spam people. It's about long-term battle. Who can last longer? That's why it turns into a sniper duel. The further you are, the more damage you can do, the better your team gets.
It's battle of attrition and a battle of highest burst damage. Okay, like the ground squad would be like they last so long, and then when it comes to the ultimate time or if you're a sniper, you get really high burst damage. So high burst, high sustainability. It's pretty much boring if you watch the high level plays. So it's basically come down to, okay, we fight, team fight, and then Zarya got the graviton. She deployed the graviton, and then the Hanzo will deploy his dragon strike, eat everything, team kill, and it goes on and on for every single games that you watch. Every single games. Thankfully, down in the lower ranks, people don't exactly care about the meta. So at least we have some comfortable plays here. You can play anything. You can still play Winston. You can play, let's say, Ana or something, because people are not exactly a good flanker. So you can still play a good healer. But yeah, Hanzo is already a problem down in the lower ranks now. God damn it. And also one of the YouTuber, Overwatch YouTuber, he also made an Overwatch album that basically he sings about his problem in Overwatch, and one of the title is Hanzo. Hanzo means Hanzo, and he pretty much
So
you can search it on Spotify, right? Tag Hanzo, basically cursing Hanzo. Oh, Hanzo, you're a cunt, everything. Yeah.
what?
The
This is
songs
diss track?
dedicated specifically to curse on Hanzo.
I
God.
think this is like a mini segue. By the way, the dia.log podcast now available on Spotify.
Oh, really?
Good luck. Yay.
Yeah.
And
That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Why
and
listen? Why listen to good musicians when you can listen to us?
You can sleep even better. No
You
more.
can listen to us on your way to work, school, someone's funeral. Why not? You know, like you go to a funeral, you can't look too good. Like you have to like have that solemn face when you're going for a funeral. Put us on. We'll deprive your brain of so much stimulation that you have the perfect look to go to your funeral.
On with headphones, please, or earphones.
With headphones though, because
don't worry, on the
everyone's talking about
speakers.
about how much they miss so or whatever, and you're like listening to these guys talk about like Hanzo and butts and other stuff.
Oh boy. So yeah, about
Yeah.
this Hanzo thing, do you think that it will be a problem in a high level play?
It's already a problem, but
Already.
it's already a problem, but there may be like some changes. Let's say with the new hero Hammond. Okay, he's probably going to change something because he's a bruiser tank. He's a high it's a high health, high mobility bruiser. So he will dive to the enemy backline. So probably be good against double sniper for one thing. And probably if with enough complaints, probably Hanzo will get a bit of a nerf, maybe in his storm arrows, probably. I'm not sure about that. The thing that you need to adjust the storm arrow because the cooldown is pretty low, 10 seconds I believe. Maybe increase, then reduce his headshot damage, or maybe increase the arrow flight speed or something. Just reduce the spammability. That's what people want.
The Storm Arrow just got nerfed from 85 to 75 on body
Yeah.
shots. So you
Okay.
can like two shots.
Damage is fine.
Three.
Yeah, damage is fine. Maybe reduce the arrow speed or something, like reduce spammability, or maybe increase the cost of his ultimate. Because at this point he'll get ultimate every team fight or every other team fights.
He got it way too fast.
Way too fast now. Like they had during the scatter era, if you get all of your arrow on the target, is it on the tank, you can get like immediately 40%. Now 40% is like even a low skill player can just get 40% within 1-2 seconds of ultimate. Fun. Before you need some skills. Like you watch streamer like Rexo or RG, because they are really good. They really hone their craft in Hanzo. Now every DPS player, no matter what skill they are, they can play Hanzo. No big deal.
Ooh, has Blizzard responded to all the reception of Hanzo right now?
Like
Any word for nerfs or something like that?
I'm not sure. Like when people complain about him on the PTR, okay, when the new Hanzo went live, they bit of a nerf, but further on, they don't explicitly say what are they going to do, because it's not something immediate. Okay, we feel oppressive, but it's not something like game breaking. You can still counter the Hanzo, but it's a bit more difficult. Like you need more things rather than nerfing Hanzo to make it. It's not like using a sledgehammer to fix everything. Okay, maybe you need some screwdrivers to tighten up some screw or to loosen up something. Okay, we don't know. Don't know how Blizzard balancing philosophy works. At this point, even 2 years after launch, we're still not sure how Blizzard balance their games. Like even StarCraft people are still wondering how the hell did they balance their games. Okay.
StarCraft's pretty balanced though. Like from what I remember, like all the races.
StarCraft.
You better update your game, Wow. You better get update and you come back.
People are still complaining about StarCraft to balance. Okay.
But at least on the what you say, just a casual gamer's perspective, I think it's all fun. But when you go into the nitty gritty, then you can see where it screws here and there, right?
In quick play, it's fine. Okay, like you can go play quick play, play Ana, you play anyway Symmetra or something. You don't really analyze. Okay, what the hell is wrong? Okay, why the enemy do like this? No. When it comes to the competitive play, you really need to get the integrity. Even like silver players really analyze their games, even though they don't improve much, but they still have that mindset of, okay, what's the problem that made me lose something. That's how terrible Overwatch is in terms of mental taxing the competitive plays. Okay, like, even though you're low rank, you play competitive, you get pretty much brain screwed and everything. Screw you, Blizzard. Screw you. You made one of the best games and the most brain taxing games ever. Holy shit.
But yeah, it's a good thing. Like Overwatch League is almost wrapping up, right? So we don't really get to see. We don't really get to see the hand soap meta coming in at the high
level. Did you guys see the Korean lineup for the Worlds?
Yeah,
wait.
Half of them NYXL.
I have an important question. Hold on. This is an important question. When they make these big changes while League is going on, does League end up playing an old build?
They play old build. Usually they implement it in the next stage. Let's say let's say stage 1. Okay, in the live patch they implement a change. So if it is close to the next stage, they usually don't implement it. But if it's like the start of this stage and then we have a change, and then the next stage is quite, let's say, 4 weeks away, a month and a half. Okay, the next stage will implement the new changes because they need to give time to the players to practice their strat.
I feel like they should standardize the build for the entire thing, because say, like, for example, we're a shitty team and I only ever play Hanzo, and then the next stage comes and they've made Hanzo like god tier, and I'm like, well, time for us to win. Like, an outsider could say like, hey, this looks like you wanted this team to win, so that's why you made Hanzo really, really strong. Especially if they nerf him after that. Like,
it's something like, Yuam's concern is I agree with it, but something that I've seen in Street Fighter 5 in the first year, what they did was they did not patch or change anything for the whole season, for the whole year. So everyone playing in the same patch, in the same. So basically, it's the players themselves develop their new skills, develop the new tech, develop the new meta. But then, like, I think from the first year was okay, but by the second year, the changes they did, because they didn't test anything for the whole year, and then they suddenly abruptly putting in tons on tons of changes that feels very odd for pro players to adapt. And from that moment, like 4 months, after just 4 months, they started rebalancing stuff. And the same goes for this year. This is the third year for the game. I think it was around April or around May, something like that, where yes, again they added some stuff after the season ends, after they wrap up the pro tour and stuff, and then halfway, not even halfway, just about like 4 months, 3 months, they address some of the feedback and they put in some slight changes, and that fluctuates the rankings of the players. And that's my segue.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's dia.log tradition that after esports corner is always FGC corner.
Because
So-
we have to compare that whenever we speak about esports, we compare it to traditional sports. Let's remember the FGC being part. Really, the comparison is more towards they are like the wrestling, the professional entertainment, the sports entertainment of the side. And speaking of which, there was a tournament at Daytona, Florida called CEO 2018. I have to
Oh,
put that
man.
reference.
You have to put a picture of the trophy for CEO, because the trophy is amazing.
And remember that our first episode where we talk about, where I basically filibustering about how the how FGC is like esports, no, like wrestling. Well, this is the event that is basically like wrestling that we've talked about a lot. And yeah, wow, when you say about the trophy, it's a freaking wrestling belt.
Yeah, I thought CEO was the one where it's a third strike cabinet.
What?
Hold on, is it this year they put in it? I haven't checked. But from the traditional part, it's a wrestling belt. But we double check on the info later. We don't want to do that now. So basically, if you have followed CEO for all this while, you should know that one of the biggest, you say, gimmicks that they do when the main tournaments reaches top 8, they basically put in an arena, where the arena is basically a wrestling ring. And the best part of the show is all the top 8 players can devise and do their own entrance intros. So basically, you can replicate WWE entrances, and some players did that.
Oh, I know. This
Oh
one
my
where the
God,
dude was
no,
like chucking
no
money
way.
into the audience with the Armika cosplayer behind him, right?
Yes, that's the one. So for CEO 2018, it's the same thing. But for Street Fighter 5, I think two of the best things, two of the highlights I like to talk about is, that one is by a player called Nakudu. He's pretty young. He won the first Capcom Pro Tour. No, first Capcom Cup for Street Fighter 5. So he's pretty much a big dog lah. But after
My favorite quote is from that guy's thing where they say he's not even sponsored and he's throwing money to the audience.
Exactly, because he in the first or second year he was sponsored by Team Liquid, but now he's free agent. Instead, he is sponsoring other players to come play. He did that, and basically the gimmick of him throwing money and having Amika, that he played Amika, so of course she has to be there, and having her hitting someone with that chair before entering the ring was sick.
By the way,
Eh,
update on the CEO thing.
Is it?
The third strike trophy is for the Super Turbo tournament at CEO.
I see. Yeah. They did the Super Turbo tournament as well. Oh, I haven't checked the stream for that one. That's cool.
Yeah.
A full arcade
It has-
cabinet.
Yeah, it's an arcade cabinet. It looks like it has a screen too.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
can't tell.
awesome. And so basically, another one is the intro for Infiltration. It's signed by Panda Gaming. And basically, when he came in, the whole entourage of his teammates come in, welcoming him. And infiltration, this South Korean guy was there with a towel around his waist, a short towel just below the just above the knees, and it's basically like street teasing stuff, but it's actually a wrestling. It's an homage to a wrestling intro by, I forgot the name of the person, of the wrestler, but it's an homage. That's pretty odd to see, because most of the time it's the American players who do this all kinds of imitation of wrestling intros, like the K-Brad Steve Austin thing. Look it up on YouTube. It's still one of the hypers. This time there's one guy, one American on the top 8 did a Triple H intro. That's cool. And moving on to Dragon Ball Fighters for a while, those two, there were two matches. No, there's one match with two players. These two players did a very Dragon Ball thing for their entrance. So one of the players, he means Tien. So basically he came in as Tien, and he has, what's the companion of Tien?
Oh, I keep forgetting his name. Starts with a P.
Chaoshin.
Chaozu, yeah.
Chaozu. So both of them coming in, they reenact a scene. So I've linked a YouTube video on our docket, but I'll probably, for those listening in, you can find as, what's it called again? Just look up CO 2018 DBFZ highlight. In parentheses and question mark. So basically, he come in and they enact one of the scenes where Chaozu sacrificed himself for Tien, attacking the other player. And the other player, who is a Yamcha main, took the blow and posed like our dear Lord Yamcha passed away. that moment, that scene, he replicated well.
I love the NPC so much. Like, gimmicks like this are what I live for.
Yeah,
and you don't get this kind of shit at PUBG.
Of course not. And also, Yamcha is pretty low tier in when people talk about Dragon Ball Fighters right now.
He's pretty low tier in DBZ. Guess what? It's canon.
It's canon. Apparently, he won the tournament with Yamcha. Freaking Yamcha. He won the whole thing. That guy, Kazunoko, is also playing Street Fighter. But he won DBFZ with a low tier character, to the point that Bamda Neko America tweeted out, in this household, we mean Yamcha. Oh boy. And also, that's not the end of the CEO talk. One thing, remember the wrestling ring? That wrestling ring usually just barely looks like a wrestling ring. But this time, it really looks like a wrestling ring. Because it is. They use it for New Japan Pro Wrestling. They did an exhibition match to promote Fire Pro Wrestling, which some of the players are licensed in that game. Kenny Omega's there. The Golden Lovers are there. Oh yeah. And they did wrestling. There's archive in the CEO YouTube channel, which is basically just wrestling matches. If that hasn't cemented that FGC is basically wrestling, this should be it.
Yeah, I am glad. I am forever glad when they fully embrace that silliness.
Well, hats off to Jabeli, aka the guy that got debated a lot. He's the organizer for CEO.
That's the thing, right? It's like a fraction of people actually care about the sport. So give the people like me who don't actually care about like who wins a reason to watch the thing, and guess what? Your viewership goes up. I think like because like Overwatch League, like they're kind of like treating it like a proper sports league and stuff. So they're a bit more serious about this, and I'm glad they are, because if they tried to, I would just say cringe. It would just look really cringe. But FGC is just like, nah, we're gonna have wrestling intros. We're gonna have Kenny Omega. Sure, whatever. It's like, holy shit, that's amazing.
It helps the fact that Kenny Omega is also playing Street Fighter. It really
Kenny
helps.
Omega is great. I want him to be a DLC character for Street Fighter.
I mean, technically, he is almost in the law, because what the latest character reveal for Cordell Treverson, the the jailbreak boy who's now a slick ass mayor. There's a live action teaser for the first
Yeah,
reveal,
where he's Cody.
and he played Cody.
I just want him to create like a new character called Kenny Ohm,
Oh yeah,
and then just
I mean Xavier Woods can be a character in Super Bomberman R. It can happen. So, what happens next is another question because we have two questionable topics to discuss.
yeah.
And
It's start the rant timer. It's time.
push the clock in. Go on.
Okay,
Play the
so
drums.
I have been very busy, so I haven't had much time to play video games lately. The most I've been doing is just doing Monster Hunter runs with my friends. And then I decided to open Honkai Impact again because I thought they would have a special gacha event for my best girl Himeko, but they didn't. I've been saving gems in the hopes of them having a special role for her, so I could get her S rank, but they did not. Fuck. I'm very upset about that because Himeko plays like a great sword user in Monster Hunter. That's beside the point. The current event for Honkai Impact on the C server is the summer event, the Summer Wars event. And the whole thing is that you compete in the Summer Wars event and you get costume tickets. And when you get costume tickets, you get to buy cute swimsuits for your girls.
Oh boy.
Hell yeah.
Somebody
So
say
my girl
I mean,
Himeko,
what do you
my
expect
girl
for summer?
Himeko
Winter clothes?
Yeah.
my girl Himeko looks amazing, by the way. Hold on, I'm looking for a picture to send you, like what I am currently fighting for.
Oh man. Okay. We'll need to check in before we put it up for our YouTube viewers, and then we need to describe it, of course. There's a lot of. No, this is not both
That's pretty
waifus.
hot.
Woo.
That's pretty hot. Not gonna lie.
Okay. The reactions are
I think
in.
this is this
That's
is from an old event.
It's a
No, it's not.
small image. I need to reverse engineer this image.
Holy shit! Hold on. Let me see if I can find a big one. But anyway,
I see swimsuits by the way. So yeah.
So, the first event, like they have 2 events that you can do, and basically what you do is you pick a faction. There's 6 girls, so you pick a faction which has 2 girls tied to it. So of course I chose Himeko's faction because fucking best girl, and also she's her faction is Himeko and Teresa. Teresa is second best girl. So
okay, which one? Describe Himiko for me.
Himeko is the redhead.
Okay, obviously that's solid pick. I will
Honest
not.
type.
I will not complain.
You like big
Come on, white hair
older
girls are
women.
overrated.
I know, right?
Thing is, I am not a boob guy. It just so happens that Himeko is best girl because she's like the drunk teacher stereotype.
Oh,
Like, she's
that
the
kind
why-
Oh, the
the why am I-
Kiwami.
Yeah, exactly. She's the why am I single, drink opens beer can stereotype. And so yeah, also she plays like a great sword user in Monster Hunter, so that's great. But and here is where the rant starts. The first, the solo quest you can do to earn points for your faction is a time attack. They put you in a room full of enemies, and they're like, okay, kill them as quickly as possible to earn points for your faction. To help you, a beach ball will spawn in the room, and if you destroy the beach ball, it will explode. So you have to target it such that your last hit will throw it into a crowd and it explodes, right? Here's the fucking thing about Honkai. Because it's a mobile game, the lock-on fucking sucks.
God.
And so it never locks onto the enemies. It only ever locks onto the beach ball, which is always like offside from the enemies. So I cannot use any of my attacks because I keep like the game will just force me to fly around and hit the beach ball instead. So,
You know what sucks? Do you know what blue stack is?
What?
Do you know what blue stack is?
Oh, you and
No.
And
Yeah,
emulator.
Okay.
Okay,
But so-
basically, BlueStack is where you can play mobile games on a computer.
PUBG Mobile.
PUBG Mobile.
Oh my
Alright,
god.
alright,
Isn't that
alright. Fortnite Mobile,
hacks?
Fortnite Mobile. No, you have a better platform to play, so why do you call it hacks?
Nah, I mean you got controller advantage. Mousing
Yeah.
keyboard, selection
mean,
of
some-
controllers.
I mean, you know that thing they sell on the internet where you have a console on mobile phones. Yeah, you can argue with that. Some people would use that.
Okay, wait, hold on. I need to finish this Honkai rant. So, I fucking go into the settings, right? I found lock-on settings. So I was like, turn off that shit. I don't want auto lock-on. Piece of shit. Right? It doesn't change anything. Doesn't fucking change anything. I'm still locked onto the beach ball the whole time. And because of that, because you get more points if you can clear it in like 120 seconds, and even more points if you can clear it within 80 seconds. But I fucking can't because I keep like getting thrown across the room. Like the enemies are not doing any damage to me. And it's purely just because I can't hit them because of the stupid lock on. You know how I had to get around it? I use one of the characters, Bronya. If you give her a particular gun, she gets a multi lock on, so she can lock on like multiple targets at a time if you charge her gun. So I just use that, like, so that way on top of shooting the beach ball, I also shoot a few people. But it doesn't do as much damage. Like if they just remove the beach ball, then Himeko could just like fuck shit up. So fucking mad about it because I have never gotten it under 120 because of this beach ball thing.
I have a gut feeling that beach ball is just there to mess with people.
No, the thing is, the beach ball like is supposed to be a good thing because you're like, ooh, I can use it to target. Fuck, I don't care. Just let me kill the dudes normally. Like I have a high damage output. It's fine. I don't need this fucking beach ball.
Well, beach ball has ascended to our thumbnail now because of this rant for sure. I really want to see the beach ball integrated into the thumbnail for one reason or another. And so let's lighten things up with another corner of our story here, and I need someone to explain this.
Is this the Gundam one?
I guess so. Because
Yeah.
but technology,
you-
we have ascended on the but technology for Gundams.
Okay, so Bandai is pretty good about like announcing new model kits for Gundam. Like usually they'll announce a bunch at a time. So especially for their build fighters project, they'll always be like, okay, yeah, here's a bunch of new kits or whatever. So the second is it core for an anime? Like the second half of build fighters.
Yeah,
has
it's
started.
core.
So they announced a bunch of new kits to go with it to get you hyped. And one of them is this strange kit that's appeared in the opening, which I put the photo in the docket. Like, don't explain about the butt technology yet. Just describe the kit first, someone.
Well,
What the
it's
fuck am I watching?
it's pretty yellow, really strong yellow. It
Is that a Gundam? It doesn't have the white face. It doesn't have the V fin. It looks like
Does
a
it have
girl.
GN drive?
the only blocky parts is the lower arms and the lower legs,
yeah.
sort of. The
Yeah,
rest
so
looks very humanoid.
It
Yeah,
looks like
so-
Katai collection anthropomization. something.
Yeah, last week we talked about that as well, right? We talked about the waifu kits and how they I am eternally grateful to them because they pay for Gundam Thunderbolt. So this is another one, another waifu kit. But Bandai,
But
based Bandai, were not content to rest on their laurel. They didn't say, okay, we'll just make a bunch of new head sculpts and then use the same body frame. And so this kit has a butt, an actual butt.
well sculpted butt, to be frank.
Yep. This kit has underbutt. if you look at it from behind, like she's wearing like a one-piece swimsuit kind of thing, and she's got like a bit of butt bulging out the back.
Oh boy.
That
Gu-
curves.
Face blind eye.
Gundams have traditionally have skirts. Now you have butts. Oh,
Yep.
Sand.
It's
eccentric.
because of how the kit is designed though, like from the front, they could not be as great, but it's okay. What you do, get some clay, sculpt it in yourself, you know, if you're really worried about it.
Or
do it.
just buy another Figma, like what I show in the chat. If you take a look,
Oh no.
it's really fat curve.
Uh,
Is it a Kotobukiya frame ups?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or-
I don't know if I can. Oh, it's too small, and I don't know if.
Irham gets it a lot. Don't worry.
Frame
I'm
up.
Google
Just
has
just
seen his
explain it.
penis.
Just explain it for our listeners to Google on your own. No, I'm not showing this on YouTube, even though it's
I want to
possible.
buy this.
This is for everyone who likes the spunky tsundere girls because she's got like the two ponytails that look like pom poms and the sharp kudere eyes. And yeah, if
Yeah.
you've ever seen a frame arms girl, it's pretty standard. Like she's got the plug suit and mecha arms and mecha legs.
Yes.
So
I
if
kind of wish someone would get one of these for my birthday as like a gag, like get me a Kotobukiya frame up, because I would fucking like make like
I mean,
get a
the weapons and stuff is very customizable. Like you can do anything with it. You can become a bow. There's another molder kit where you can make it a bow. You can depending on your creativity, it can become a sword. It can become a twin blade. It can become a lot of things. You can
I
wings.
think the thing I see people do is they buy the frame arms girl and then they buy like a gunpla kit, like
Yeah.
Zaku or whatever, and then instead of using the Kotobukiya parts for the legs, they use the Gundam parts.
Yeah, that looks really sick sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to make a sexy Zaku girl.
so, what do you Google for
Oh.
that? Frame arms, Kotobukiya.
Yeah, I don't know the specific kit's name, but it's
The specific kit says Megami device. Megami device.
Megami.
For those who want to
Oh.
Google, yeah, go for it. I will not be responsible because I think we don't have anything to add for this topic now, right?
Nope.
Most important for you fine people of culture, yes, she does have the thigh bulge as well. It's not as prominent as the underbutt, but she does have the thigh bulge.
Taiwan
I should-
too hot for Nintendo.
Yeah. Since we're like, I'm essentially ruining my chances of ever getting a date ever again, I may as well like just do a slight like plug since this is the what we've been doing past week. I started watching Kizuna Ai in the past week.
I
And,
don't
like-
know.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, she got a new design though. She got two new designs.
I'm just like, there's all my time is just sunk into just watching Kizuna Ai videos because I can't leave them running in the background because I don't understand Japanese. I love that video of her like reviewing the figure of her and she's just like, I am kawaii. Look
Oh
at
yeah,
that
that
thigh
one.
bulge. Oh god, that is great. Like another thing I would ironically accept as a present is a Kizuna Ai statue. I would just like get a stack of like 1 ringgit notes and put it under the statue as like tribute.
And with all of these talks, we need to move on to the news because the news directly, you can say that we are putting ourselves on the radar on what we are going to talk about next. So move on to the
Almost
news.
literally.
It is the
Wait,
biggest news of all.
Yeah, the most important news story. Ignore the hashtag in the docket. Someone just read what I've written as the headline for this story. Someone? Anyone?
Nobody is brave enough because they know they are on the list.
Yeah, we don't want to be on the list.
What I've written. Malaysia wants to watch you watch porn.
Oh boy. So basically what it is again?
Okay, so this is a bit of a a bit of a like. I'm gonna get on my soapbox again. Like the rant timer has been going for a while.
No,
And
we haven't stopped.
A
yet.
while longer, it will continue because basically the hot topic in Malaysia, the hot button issue in Malaysia has been pedophilia
Yes.
because of the great state of Kelantan and a man marrying an 11-year-old. And it's actually very hard to pass a law that says 43-year-olds cannot marry 9-year-olds because everyone's like, it's our religious right to marry an 11-year-old. So to pretend like we're doing something, the authorities are like, well, now we're gonna watch you watch porn. So we're going to have access. Like if you watch porn, we're going to know, and and then like you will be charged accordingly, because we want to look for people who are watching child pornography. Now,
So basically, you're saying that the police is actually watching porn with us.
they're watching us watch porn, which I don't know if it's any better.
It's even worse.
It's also disgusting.
I have a few
Share.
questions about this though, because first off, one, there's no way that's constitutional. Like, to my knowledge, I always thought the police cannot take action unless someone makes a complaint. So I have to say Anand keeps watching porn during the podcast, and then they'll like look at his history and be like,
Shit.
So to my knowledge, like you cannot preemptively observe someone. Secondly, like what's the population for Malaysia? Does anyone know off the top of their head population?
Last time I heard
25.
27.
Yeah, 27 million.
Not
27
27
million.
billion.
Okay, so assume half of those are men, right? 13 million. You're going to tell me you're going to watch 13 million people? We do not have enough prison for 13 million people.
Oh boy.
Plus,
Thirdly,
okay.
no, go on to your point first, if it's
No.
related to that.
Because yeah, there's like 30 million people that may or may not be watching this. But no, this podcast. I mean, the
No,
porn thing.
we'd be lucky we got 13 people watching this.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the
Pretty
stars.
much.
Please just run the podcast in the background, please, for the numbers. But the thing is, just imagine how is it they're going to draw the line? Because just like before this, previously we just talked about anime buds. And do they think this is child pornography? I don't know. I don't know how they're going to identify it. Some
that's
people
the
might
other
not
thing.
know anime is a thing.
I don't think we have a legal definition for pornography either, which means it's still unenforceable. Like someone pointed out, there's no actual clause in the penal code for watching pornography. And the police cannot make it illegal to watch porn because they do not have legislative power. So we need to have a parliamentary session where they introduce an anti-pornography bill, and then And that's my third point is 3 letters, VPN. What
Yeah.
now?
It's like I have VPN.
Of course, Anand.
You are
has VPN.
explaining yourself a lot. Please.
Actually,
No,
Literally,
Yeah.
I use it for a lot of things. Okay, if I'm on public Wi-Fi, I'm usually using VPN to open up like bank accounts or something. Maybe blog website like Medium. Medium is not unblocked, so I need VPN to read articles on Medium. So any perception you guys have on me is probably invalid.
Okay.
And then also when he's at home, he uses his VPN to just jerk it furiously.
Oh, come on. Do you notice that starting the FGC corner until now, Anand only played. I don't think he's playing Shadowrun right now, is he? No.
Okay. Joke about this, right? Literally during the Overwatch corner, I was going through like loot cosplayers' Twitter profiles.
Well, okay. Now you're exposing yourself. We all attacking Anand, but it was me. Wow, I was doing all these things.
Exactly. This is why this is the source of my powers. I have no shame.
And
I'm
this
just
is
like,
why we need to talk about this topic, even though it's
yeah.
tangentially related to video games. Because hey, there are games that have loot stuff. I'm not judging.
Yeah, so that's the other question, right? My theory is they're only watching for the block because for those of you who don't know, Malaysia actually blocks sites like Pornhub and RedTube.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know?
How do I know? Because I jerk it like twice a day.
Oh, that's a lot of endurance.
So my theory is they're only watching for that. So if I have to do the next episode from a prison cell, I'll update you and tell you guys. Maybe that wasn't the case. Because like there's a lot of sites like Facebook. Facebook has lax nudity guidelines recently. Like they got pretty lax nudity guidelines.
They allow titties.
Well, we have our guinea pig. Yes.
So if either me, Anan, or Irham gets arrested, then like
You know-
if
you know
Irham
what's
gets
up, you
arrested,
know what's
then
up.
anime is haram.
Oh boy. But
Uh,
why are you guys risking all of this stuff when Warframe is updating with new stuff to play, man? Warframe is
why would they? Why would they? Why would they?
Why bother?
Come on, Warframe, man, Warframe.
Apa tu? Free game.
Can I just say one thing about the Warframe update though? Someone was saying like, oh my god, the Warframe announcements were so much better than E3. Of course it is. It's a convention for one game. You're
TennoCon.
always going to get something that you want. E3 is like for all games. So there's going to be something you don't like. Fuck.
Yeah, and one funny thing I found is like maybe like accidentally or something. The convention for Warframe is called TennoCon, right?
Yeah.
So recently we also have a failed convention called TennoCon. So in some videos,
Oh.
they say TennoCon, I hear it like TennoCon. What kind of con? They say, oh, okay, TennoCon. Instead of the Tenamonju con something.
Oh yeah, that's the one where they were like they had too many people, not enough shit. I can't remember. It's DashCon 2.0 essentially.
So basically, we've already segued into Warframe seamlessly. We didn't even flag it. So yeah, Warframe has announced Digital Extremes developers has announced tons of update for Warframe coming in. I don't know a lot of the details specifically, but so I'll have to resort to our Warframe experts to flesh out the story. But what we know is there's going to be one update coming up called the Fortuna update, which will add an open world map on Venus this time.
Yeah,
Like Plains
it's
of
got
Eidolon.
hoverboards.
But on Venus with hoverboards and
Yep.
wild animal.
Basically,
Okay,
skate
can
for. And I like
Destiny 2.
Destiny to know. Don't. This is better than this. Do not compare it to that. In this household, we do not compare. But I like the we say the aesthetic with the hub place because it's a labor camp of sorts where people have to pay their debts to come out, and it has all this nitty neon lighting and the announcement trailer they have like the synthwave playing in as work song was chanting, which is I don't know, it's a weird combo but it totally works. It looks cool.
Yeah, it's basically because there's like different factions in the game. So the first open world area was Grenier, so this one is for the Corpus. And, like the shiny like sci-fi dudes.
The block heads, right? The one with the square rectangle heads. Alright.
Literal blockheads.
You can shoot off the helmets by the way, then they'll suffocate and die. Great.
Oh really? I didn't notice that. Okay. So next on the topic is another far-flung, let's say, update that will come soon, no?
Wait.
Wait.
There was one more thing revealed for TennoCon.
Space
battle.
Yeah.
Space battles.
Yeah, I'm talking about Railjack. This will be an update, but they have yet to set a release date. Fortuna will be coming this year. Railjack is still far off, but it will become. So it's basically, I describe it on the article, is basically think of Sea of Thieves, where you get to play 4-player, but it's in space and limited scope.
Yeah.
So
and it's AI. So
Is that Borderlands? you get it, right?
in this household, we can talk about Borderlands.
but not Destiny.
Not Destiny. Hopefully Borderlands will become this sort of game. So yeah,
My only problem is that like the ship design like looks very empty. I'm just like, maybe we could like, you know, condense it a bit, make it look less like a big empty apartment with a few buttons. But yeah, the gameplay they showed, I wonder how much of it is scripted because they only get out of the ship like towards the end. I'm wondering if I could have one person as just the vanguard of the ship in their arc wing, just flying ahead of the ship and killing shit. That would be pretty fucking great.
From what I heard, that's sort of what they wanted to go, where you get 4 players like for a crew and get to run the ship. Okay, one manning the sisters, one pilot the whole thing, one manning the guns, and then at the right time or the right moment, okay, go out on your arch wings, basically your jetpack stuff in Warframe, and then go raid or breach the other ships around to gain loot or something.
What I was thinking of is instead of boarding, like you just have one dude there because they have like smaller ships flying towards you. So you just have one dude out there being like your Gundam, like just fighting off all the.
Oh yeah, when you put it that way, yeah, when you ride in the archways, you basically a Gundam, eh?
Yeah, man.
Didn't notice that.
I do feel bad though because like all these modes tend to like remove the individuality of each Warframe because like, you know, what Warframe you use has no effect on the ship. You're still, the ship will have the same gun. I wish there was something you could do like to make the Warframes feel cool again. But that's more about an Arcwing rework than anything else because like, yeah, Arcwings. That being said, I love big guns, and what is a ship if not a really big gun?
Okay, a few more things. They announced a new cinematic quest called the New War. So for those who are way deep into the quest lines, there you go. Yeah. They announced the sacrifice at E3 and it's out now. So yeah, more content. And there's 2 new Gundams, new Warframes coming in. Codename Revenant and Garuda.
Codename Garuda. Yeah.
Anything we know about them? I don't know anything about them.
I wasn't watching the live stream, but they showed the model for Revenant, and he looks kind of like Revenant isn't his final name; it's just the code name.
Yeah.
He looks kind of like, if you know Warframe and miss TennoCon for whatever reason, he looks kind of like a mix between Necros and Inaros. I wonder how he's gonna play. Like he's obviously going to be Death Team. Garuda looks interesting because she's got like wing blades on her arms, and that's freaking cool. It's
Codename Garuda.
I love the fact that a lot of the really edgy Warframes are all female because I can just imagine this like 13-year-old being like, I want to play this Warframe, but that's a girl. It's great.
My favorite Warframe in terms of style is Mesa. She's so cool.
Oh, I am
so cool, man. I love Mesa.
The first thing when I booted up Warframe when I was still green, that was the Warframe I was aspiring to get. But that's a long way to go. I still haven't made any progress.
I just outright bought her.
Cool. Yep.
I don't care about farming Mesa. I just bought her with
she's one of the worst quests to farm. Like same thing. I waited until there was a fire sale and then just bought her.
Well, now you guys are poisoning me. And speaking of poisoning me, we have another announcement for Warframe. It's also coming to Switch.
I have worries about coming to Switch though, because that means it has to be online, kan? Because Warframe doesn't have an offline mode.
Yeah, but I think it will be the same case like Fortnite is on the Switch. So you will have to be always online. You can't really play on the go unless you have like tethering on tethering hotspot or something. Yeah.
Do you think that in the near future, Switch will have LTE support? Like it will be a thing.
I hope
if it able to do so.
They can add like built-in modules and maybe sell like specific module to retrofit the old ones, like the USB-C, right? You can just add LTE module.
It will be so insane. You can just go anywhere and suddenly it become your new phone lah.
I used to always joke about before I
Mm.
had a smartphone. I used to joke about that with my 3DS. Like, I wish I could just install a SIM card in my 3DS and then.
Hey, did the Vita used to have a SIM card slot? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Hold on. I have a Vita
Nah.
right here.
Check it.
You can't beat it.
Well, long live the Vita. But yeah, because is it? Because I remember that like some models, I think I remember that in the US, which is the not region lock, I say carrier lock to certain carriers. If I'm not mistaken, there is.
Doesn't look like it. And this is a first gen Vita, by the way, so probably not.
Probably I just mistaken. But yeah, I think that some of the handhelds should be benefiting if they have a SIM card slot. Just for the mobile data. And even in Malaysia, they are pretty generous with mobile data. No caps, I think. Is it?
Yep.
A lot of the plans have no caps, right? Like the more
Yeah.
reasonable postpaid internet stuff.
Depends. Like the lower grade stuff has caps. Mine has a cap, but it's so ridiculously high that my mom and I just never. Despite the fact my mom and I share the data cap, like we have not reached it yet.
Same.
So yeah, it's pretty reasonable for a Switch.
I
Maybe a revision of Switch to get a SIM slot. Sure.
But the one thing, like, to not go too far from Warframe, is that it's great if you're not already playing Warframe because there's not going to be any carryover. Like, there's no, to my knowledge, there's no like save transfer.
Nope.
Because it's going to be like the console builds. So I don't want to restart. Do you know how much money I spent on my Inaros?
Understandable.
I have bought like I should have saved a photo of my Inaros because people keep asking me about it. Like, I have bought like I think both of the premium helmets and then one of the TennoCon skins. And then like a bunch of cosmetic. My Inaros is like very heavily customized. And I bought like potatoes and stuff to increase the slot limit. So yeah, I have poured a lot of money into Warframe, and I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah, it's
unless they make Inaros Prime, because I will buy that fucking shit.
You buy the products as soon as it came out.
Well, you know what they say, it's a free game, but you gotta buy something.
See, that's the thing though. Warframe, because it's such a good game, I don't feel bad buying it.
Same with me. I already spent like 300 ringgit on Warframe.
Wow.
Who played League of Legends back in the day?
No, we play good games.
Still haven't touched it. I'm still a virgin on League.
I almost near 2,000 ringgit on League skins. Just damn skins, you know. That back in the day during school, I was so damn rich, you know. Like I went to people and just throw money at them. You want money? Just get her. Because during my school year, I did part time on weekends.
Oh, okay.
And I got money, you know, like. And I'm like, yo, who wants some skin, bro? Come, at me. I give you skin.
Man, I remember like I got paid for some work that I did that I'm not entirely allowed to talk about. So like it just my friend. So basically, I just got like a bunch of money dumped into my PayPal, and that just became like my Warframe money. Every time I got the 75% voucher, I would just like buy the 5 USD platinum bundle. So it's like 100 platinum. So I just like keep growing platinum. And then suddenly they'd be like, oh, Inaro's got a bunch of TennoCon stuff.
100% value.
I think I spent like I spent for Warframe like around 5 or 10 ringgit. I've bought the second lowest platinum bundle with a 75% discount. But yeah, I figured out that I've spent enough time. This is a good game. Support the developers, so I throw away some money, get some slots. I just want slots. I don't want to sell, but I want to hoard everything.
But right now, if you really play religiously and farm for rewards, you can literally get thousands of platinum just by selling ribbon mod.
Trading.
They went up to like tens of thousands for the rare one, like Lanka with high damage, high crit and everything, and 20 times road ribbons, they can fetch like 9,000, 8,000, 9,000 easily. Like, holy shit, these guys are rich as fuck, man.
Okay.
Like my
And that
the-
explains. And that
the
explains.
my early days of Warframe since 2013 has been far removed from the Warframe now in terms of economy.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
Oh,
5 years.
Before I move to the next news story, can I just do one slight humble brag? I was helping a friend do some boss runs in Warframe. We were doing she wanted to kill that crew.
Oh, like crap.
So I told her, she was like, "Oh, we're fighting that crew." I'm like, "Oh, let me bring my anti-son of a bitch gun." And she's like, "What's the anti-son of a bitch gun?" So I brought my optical, which is spec for high damage. And just like literally like every shot breaks him already, so you can do damage to him. I'm just like, bagus. And when his armor like breaks off, I was just like, "Okay, check this out. One shot, dead." I'm like, "Yes." Like, what's optical? Great gun. I recommend it if you really hate enemies with inbound states.
Oh, speaking of how you guys spend lavishly on Warframe stuff, well, it's a bit a shame that there's no, how you say, cross-platform safe transfers. So we don't really get to. If we are going to play on the Switch, it's starting from the bottom.
Wait, they say no safe transfer for Warframe to Switch?
Not likely, I think. At most,
I think they will allow it like one time. Like when they start to launch on console, they give you like one time transfer from PC to the console account when they have parity, like one time only.
I see.
Specific occasion. I think they will launch with parity between PC and the Xbox and PS4, and then the Switch. They will have like one week or 2 weeks of parity. There's a window for you to transfer. That's all.
That's not great though, because like for me, I would get Warframe on Switch purely just because like I say this every time we talk about Switch, but like when someone's like talking about shit I don't care about, just like headphones up, I'm gonna grind for some materials now. Oh yeah.
Yeah, speaking of crossplay, you know a good game with crossplay?
Fortnite?
Fortnite is a good game.
Despacito.
Despacito. Oh, Despacito is will it get a sequel actually? I need to know. Will Despacito 2 will be real? Is it?
I heard right. They're not going to do a sequel for Despacito, but they're going to do Despacito as a service.
Moving to our next topic. Yeah, the alley-oop works. Nice one. Psyonix has announced that they have no plans to do Rocket League 2, but rather they will expand Rocket League as a service for years to come.
What? They told me it was Despacito.
Damn.
Throw
You
Psyonix
just
under the
got
bus.
bamboozled.
So yeah, that's basically the topic I want to bring in this story because hey, no sequels. Let's just build on this game over and over the years. Keep on reworking stuff that people don't want. Patch the game if it's unbalanced. Follow the fan feedback. Add something more to surprise the community once in a while. Do sales. Like for Rocket League, it's not a free game. You have to buy. Do sales frequently to get in the players. And stream a lot. I think is that a good model for games to follow? How do you expect
Don't
that?
forget to add new cars.
Yeah, for Rocket League, yeah, that works. Like, what would you add in a sequel for Rocket League? Nothing, exactly. It's like it's the same reason why we're never gonna get a Team Fortress 3 because again, no reason. You think about it, right? The only really popular game as a service that got a sequel is Destiny, and even then,
Anywhere,
people.
and
And they managed to screw it up.
And the Division 2. I don't know why those games need a sequel. Oh yeah.
Just improve the game that you already have. But yeah, so I think Rocket League, because Rocket League isn't like it's not like 70 gigs or something, right? So yeah,
so far no.
Why not?
Yeah,
it's just keep it going, just keep updating. Warframe updates though. So it's so much of my memory.
Warframe 2.
But
No.
if they want to do a Rocket League 2, I want it to be called rather than Rocket League 2. I want it to be called Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Power Battle Gas 3000.
Yes.
Bring back the
exactly
old
that.
battle cast name, which is very hard to remember, very hard to write, and the acronym is terrible, but it's very fun to say. Just put a jingle on it, put it on the trailer, say Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Power Battle Cast. People will remember it. They didn't promote it
Oh, no.
that
I'm just
good.
imagining like you just get a bunch of like B-list celebrities to sing the jingle. That's the ad for the game.
And people will remember
You
it.
have like fucking Ariana Grande like Supersonic.
Michael Cera.
Michael Cera singing
Yeah.
Supersonic Rocket Power
Whoa.
And
Acrobatic.
then it cuts to like Patrick Stewart and he's like stone faced entire time. Supersonic.
How no, they all keep on saying the whole thing, and then when they at the end of the trailer, they want to write, they confuse again. What's the name again? Super what again?
No, then no, have the third game be called the game formerly known as Rocket League.
Nah, just joking lah. But I think it's okay to call Rocket League because it's very marketable and really helps.
Yeah.
And speaking of names that are marketable, next on the list, there's
I
been.
came in like a wrecking ball.
Do you want to say that, or do you want to say Hammond?
I came in
Hammond!
like a
Hammond, you idiot!
Look at that hamster.
Hammond!
So yeah,
oh.
Anan has mentioned this earlier that Overwatch has a new hero now called in game it's called Wrecking Ball. In the UI of the games it's called Wrecking Ball, but people keep insisting, for good reason, that the hamster must be called its true name, Hammond. So
Yeah.
Yes.
So like there's a cool reason for this disparity is that in the lore, he's like a gladiator essentially.
oh my god, that's
And
a
no
good
one
story.
knows that he's a hamster because he's in a mecha. So they only know he's like this mysterious mecha pilot, and the mecha is called Wrecking Ball. So everyone knows him as Wrecking Ball. So he's like the champion of Junkertown, Wrecking Ball. But the truth is he's actually a hamster called Hammond, and Wrecking Ball is like the AI of the mecha.
Imagine what happened when the community says in the game, ham top, ham rolling, ham.
Hamtaro.
They already did that with Winston. Monkey. They didn't call Winston.
Hamster.
It's monkey now.
Badger.
Right. What
My
did
favorite thing is when Hammond was first in the PTR, they were like, someone took a screenshot of their 6 Hammond team and was like, G-Force, let's roll out.
That's still the best thing out of there. G-Force, bro.
But yeah, I feel like he is the most fun-looking hero in a very long time.
Anan, have you tried Hammond? Wrecking Ball?
No,
think
yeah,
of it?
I've watched stream, but I'm too lazy to download the PTR.
Oh
And
yeah, still on
I-
PTR.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
not
I don't even
common
play
to play.
competitive as much. But yeah, I've been watching the all streamers play Hammond, and so far it's been pretty good reception so far. Because he brings a fairly high mobility skill. So instead of just pressing shift and landing somewhere a la Winston or Diva, can press shift and then launch a hook. Then you swing yourself wherever you want, and
If you gain enough momentum, you do damage.
yeah, they do damage, but it's not one shot. Okay, it's like you need the right positioning, the right distance, and the right combo, and the right target for you to be effective. Okay, it's like, okay, you have all of these abilities, all of these opportunities, but you need to utilize it properly to be effective. That's what that people perceive as a fairly reasonable skill requirement. So high level players love Hammond so far.
Remember break? You hold right click and you press left click. Bam. 150 to 0. Easy.
Brigida is probably one of the easiest hero to get play of the game. Like I haven't played competitive for like 3 weeks. Then when I played my first game, I played with Brigida and I got play of the game. Easy clap, man. No worries.
Disgusting.
Brigida is
I
super.
remember back in early Overwatch when every play of the game was just Hanzo. Because you just get the dragon.
Hanzo,
No. You click on their heads.
Forehead, click on their heads.
Yeah.
Lol. Copperhead. No, the early days of Overwatch, the usual play of the game is Genji, Soldier, because you can get a lot of multi kills.
McCree.
McCree with high noon because people are too stupid to run away. They still don't know.
We were too dumb, too young to realize. Oh my god, what is with the music references today?
Yeah. Get back to Hammond. Any other question you want to ask me? Like, I don't know.
Nope, tak boleh.
Not really, because I want to ask about how's the Blizzard servers are holding up, because I've heard a lot of DDoS attacks coming in and out.
Yeah, basically over the weekends, Blizzard service providers got attacked. I'm not sure because the thing is their game, let's say their game server, like you play something and then you go to their servers, those things are hosted by Amazon. So Amazon Web Services,
It is.
one of their service providers. So Amazon Web Services is one of their provider. I think they have like another provider. So their servers basically got DDoS, so high traffic, and every Blizzard games. Yeah, so Hearthstone. I'm not sure Hearthstone, but every Blizzard, Diablo and Overwatch mainly have problems. People cannot play. So their session maybe disconnect. They have lagging and stuff. So over the weekends, people just quit playing Blizzard games for fear of losing their important stuff like SR points or maybe some items and everything. So just imagine you disconnect, you lose 50 SR. How fuck is that?
Yikes. Yes.
Like, okay, if you like this leave yourself, okay, you deserve it, but this is disconnect. It's not even your fault, and you lost 50 SR. Like you already grind for like 4 or 5 hours. Like you win, you lose, you win, you lose. Say okay, I got like 70 SR, and then suddenly disconnect, you lost 50 SR. How fucked up is that? Because they cannot differentiate between a disconnect from server and intentional disconnect. Because I think there's technology for that, but they still don't implement it. So whether you're honestly being disconnected or you purposely disconnect, you're both getting fucked in the ass, just like that.
Ooh. And speaking of, do I want to do that segue? I don't know, but whatever I was thinking of, we need to move on to the next news topic. Press F for respects if you like, because Kotaku compete the esports esports sites where Kotaku and Deadspin's joint venture doing quote unquote journalism on the circuit of esports recently shut down.
I love the quote unquote. I love it.
I mean, yeah, if you follow the whole thing, the compete as what you say very mixed. Okay, some people may say a majority of them are pretty much low effort journalism or something, but there are some gems like for the FGC part. I have no complaints because the writers that did those work covering the FGC side of things used to write in Shoryuken.com, SRK, so which is one of the biggest FGC centric sites in the world. So on that side, they have merits. But when I saw their coverage on Overwatch League, I think
Like,
many people went
okay.
like that. Okay.
Like in my opinion, let's say if you are not familiar with Kotaku, it's a game journalism organization.
Can I say, if you're not familiar with Kotaku and you're listening to this podcast, like, wow, you are 1 in 10 billion chance of
Yeah. You have been at least reading one of their articles, but if you don't know how the perception on Kotaku is, just imagine a gaming centric BuzzFeed. That's what it is. BuzzFeed on gaming, and you know how biased and stupid BuzzFeed is, catering to the lowest levels. Well, sometimes they have like their gems, maybe some of their features and stuff, but in general, you can dismiss some stuff because they're not really upholding the journalism to the highest level of honor. They can do stupid stuff and stuff. Shit. Yeah. So the esports the esports arm of Kotaku journalism, quote unquote, has been shut down, and people are celebrating because they're pretty biased. And just imagine, like, the supposedly journalists commenting on esports and they don't even interested in the sports they're talking. Like, it's like a man talking about women and how women works, or maybe women talking about how to please a man. It's something like that. That's
How
so,
do we get there? That's
maybe my comparison is a bit extreme, but you get my point.
it's
Like,
basically what I'm imagining here. It's basically you made me write about esports. I don't give a fucking shit.
Basically,
Yeah.
what if you put out
Yeah,
esports
you ask
article
what
on
I'm
Gamer
saying.
Matters, your output is like compete, which is world class actually. If you
Yeah,
think
man.
it that way,
My
it's a world
output is
class,
similar to Kotaku. That's how great we are.
world class esports, world class shit posting at its best. So yeah, but I think the biggest, what you say, the biggest point of flaw that you can see about compete is when they covered Overwatch League. Oh my god! Remember the whole kerfuffle with Guguri and the whole thing where where's female players in Overwatch League? I think most of the buzz started from the articles covered in compete, and I don't think that it covered like, I don't think they are covered fairly, as if they are just wanting to push a certain narrative.
Okay. Yeah, the narrative is like, okay. I can tell about it. What narrative they are pushing with our news at the end. So we can, let's say, discuss about the narrative behind the Gregory stuff and or the certain bias within the Overwatch League coverage of Kotaku Compete in terms of women. So we can discuss later because it's related.
Oh,
And
alright,
I
alright,
have
alright.
and I've been like sort of watching and studying about this I don't want to go into politics here, but it's called extreme left
And next day, right?
politics.
Okay.
Yeah. Extreme left feminism or something. Yeah.
Uh,
We'll talk political later.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can talk about that
Move on.
later.
This is heavy stuff. First, we talk
This
about
heavy stuff.
porn, and now we
But
talk about
because you need
politics.
the right knowledge and stuff, and I probably say I have adequate enough to be unbiased about it.
We talk about
Well
heavy.
being yeah.
Yeah, we talk about heavy stuff here. We talk about porn. We talk about politics. We talk about waifus. We talk about wrestling. What else? We talk about Warframe. We sing.
A lot of Warframe.
Oh
talk this
my
week.
god! And speaking of, okay, so we were going to pivot into something else. We have another topic later on the last part, but let's pivot somewhere else around the esports side of things, but more local. And you guys know that Mobile Legends is pretty big in Malaysia.
Welcome to Mobile Legends. I hate that fucking ad.
For
No,
plenty
Your
I
of
hate,
legendary
I hate the
pop.
ones
God,
where they
it's
try
gone.
to meme.
Good
The
God,
meme
it's
ones
gone
was
now.
the guy watching the girlfriend is like, oh, fun, like a yeah. Mobile Legends can suck a dick. What's the news story about it?
The problem is they are so big right now that they can have their own esports drama. No, this is,
Yeah.
I mean, I thought getting sued by Riot is enough esports drama.
oh no, they have
No.
they have even more drama, and this is at the point where I think the last 2 weeks I felt like, personally, it is, I don't feel like I want to cover esports that much, and one of the biggest point of contention where I felt that is because I was here by the sidelines eating popcorn, watching the drama unfold, while a lot of the other journalists, esports journalists covering, going in, taking interviews, asking the right questions about the whole thing that is Mobile Legends. Astro Awani was there, my Gamer was there, and I'm putting IGNC's report about this issue on the YouTube feed because they are the only English site that covering this from what I can search. But okay, so back to the topic here. So this is the second season of the Mobile Legend Professional League. So this is basically their top tier for the region lah. So imagine Overwatch League, okay, more localized for Malaysia and Singapore. Okay, that's for Mobile Legends. So you have like for the first season, they have already done open qualifiers to determine how the top teams that will compete. But for the second season, they have like four teams that have placed well, the top four from last season, get an automatic spot into season 2. But the problem is, they have one clause wherein you need to retain 3 members of the same team from the last season must remain. If not, the position, the slot will be, you say, will not be given to the top 4, but the other teams on the down on the chain will get the spot. So this is what happened to the team called FV Mysterious Assassin, FVMYA. So basically this is the Flash Vision team. Flash Vision, the guys that have been invested in the FGC side of things in Malaysia for a long while. This is their first venture into quote unquote mainstream esports. In this household in Malaysia, this is the mainstream esports, for better or worse. I don't like it, no. But still, the problem is that they did not get their team basically reshuffled a lot. And after the qualifiers have ended, almost all the qualifiers have ended, one of the teams down in the pecking order, called, what's the name again? Mystic Burden. They changed their roster, and some of the lineups there was former members of Mysterious Assassins. And Mysterious Assassins have to drop their spot. They have to go to the qualifiers, which they failed. And it sparked some drama from there. The manager posts on Facebook saying that maybe there are rules regarding this situation, but should be looked into more. But then the manager of Mystic Burden suddenly comes in, and then things sparks from there. A lot of calling this, calling that, okay, asking this, asking that. I'm just sitting there watching popcorn. So it's a lot about roster changes. And I think this thing happens a lot in Dota, but I'm not so sure. Anand, do you have any take on the situation?
Yeah, I've been reading the articles.
Kan, it's a lot to take in. But it's basically just drama and fluff.
It's drama. Like they decided to invite the players from Mr. Assassins. Did the organizer approve it?
I think so, which sparks the argument, because in the rule books it's totally legit, and the manager of Mr. Assassin acknowledged that rule they are abiding to the rules, but he just voices his unhappiness with the whole situation, because hey, our team did well, we did top 2. Is it top 2 or top 3? But I think Mr. Assassins was one of the highest ranking Malaysian teams. The other top teams were from Singapore. So now they have to start from scratch because most of the team left for some reason, and they have to build from scratch. They have to go down to the qualifiers, and they failed to secure position. This, which is basically from their perspective, they've been robbed. Which is why the displeasure was conveyed on the Facebook page, Facebook post. But then when people start, when they like in Twitter we subtweet, right? In Facebook, I don't know, they sub Facebook posts. I don't know. But that thing happened, and it sparks a lot of arguments. But I think it has been resolved. But still, yeah, people are talking a lot about Mobile Legends. We are not really covering the whole issue very well because I don't know anything. But the thing is,
it's Kotaku level journalism.
Yep. And that's why I do not put anything about Mobile Legends, this drama, covered on our side, because I still do not understand the whole scene. And do not ask us about Mobile Legends, because this is the best that we can give. We can say that it's big. There's a lot of people caring about it. So yeah.
I'll give some of my take on it. Like, okay, you can fire me, you can roast me if I'm wrong or anything. If I'm
you hear that, audience, fire Hanan.
You can, not fire in sense of firing me from my position. Like, you can just fire me like an Ultraman firing on a monster. So old reference. Okay, it's fine. Okay. I think like whether the legitimacy of people complaining depends on the magnitude of the tournament and the effect, the influence of the tournament on the scene itself. Can you consider this as a sort of a tournament for Mobile Legends? see.
It's basically the pinnacle of the scene here. So
The
MPL,
pinnacle right now. The
yeah,
pinnacle for our region.
yeah, for our region, this is one of the biggest. There's another league. I forgot the name is. Mobile Star Ladder. It's another esports organization. They have done Dota things, and I think they've done they just started Mobile Legends stuff as well. Mysterious Assassins are playing in that league, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Since they did not secure MPL, the big league, they have another league now. So yeah.
Yeah, okay, because this is considered a major tournament, and I've pretty much seen like a lot of Malaysian teams specifically. They already have their own established team with their jerseys and marketing, branding under a company something. So, the complaints from the people in the scene, the coaches, the players, or the audience, they have warrant. So they have a backing. They have basis for this, because as this is a large tournament, so it's not part of the important growth for this esports. So let's say if this is a budding esports, so a small tournament something, okay, we can give some leeway. Can give some how do they say this? Some looseness in terms of rule. Okay, just spend a bit there because this is still small tournament. So okay, this did not qualify. Okay, you can take from other team or something. So it's fine. But this is major. So yeah, I think it's sort of unethical to take someone unqualified into your team. Something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a gray area and something like that. But
Yeah, it's
still,
gray area.
but still, it's growing pains, like you said, Anand. It's growing pains, and I guess the scene will mature from this point, which
Yeah.
is a good thing in the long run, right?
Yeah. If we like, if the community of Mobile Legend esports decide to, okay, we need to set it straight and say this is the right way to do it, the right rules, no bending of the rules. Okay, and then the esports can mature. So if you still want to bend around the rules, forget about growing. You guys will trample upon each other just to get the upper hand.
Yeah. So yeah, and again, we will be seeing Mobile Legends from the sidelines and see if there's
We have
Yeah.
to approve Mobile Legends now as a esports rather than saying, oh, mobile games will not prosper. They're already prospering, even though we are not covering it really that much. But at
For
least we can
sure.
say
Mhm.
we show respect to the MOBA esports.
Oh, they've gone
They're not-
far. Like in
They've gone far.
these
Yeah,
2 years, they have done more progress than us.
yeah.
Hey, we have a podcast now.
We still haven't
Oh.
paid our journalists yet.
On that topic, on that topic. No. But still. You say about podcast, right? Mobile Legends actually they have in their community, they have a podcast. They started a podcast already. And you know what? The whole dia.log you say overlay that you are seeing right now on the YouTube feed, which is inspired from that. I got got triggered from Mobile Legends. They have more production value than us, and that we need to do better. We cannot lose to Mobile Legends. So yeah, even though we don't really, none of us
Even
are
though
really
we did lose
passionate.
to Mobile Legends.
We are totally not the guys that will be covering the scene, but hey, we do know and we acknowledge it exists. And go, man! I like to eat more popcorn. Okay, we have a lot more to cover, but this
I think we can just quickly go through stuff and just get to the main
the
the main meat.
So quickly.
We'll just read off some headlines. Hold on.
Oh.
Cyberpunk is still in pre-alpha, years before full release.
Surprise.
That's why they
Don't
all.
wait, you fucking pricks.
That's why there's no image yet, only audio.
Hazelight's next game will be published by EA again. I
Yeah.
don't know why people are still letting EA do shit. I don't even know who Hazelight is, but
No, a way out.
FIFA 2019.
Joseph fuck shit out Ferris. The guys that do the indie guys.
Monster Hunter World, PC, August 9th.
Wait.
Supports 4K and 60 FPS.
Oh, did you guys buying it?
Nope.
And for your information,
What?
Monster Hunter PC in Malaysia is one of the cheapest.
40% off
Yeah.
from the real price. in
139
US.
ringgit.
$139. So
Murah
it's
what?
translated to full $60. So $30 something, $40, 42. So it's cheap.
$60
Thank
should
you,
be a,
Thank you,
29
Steam, for original pricing.
$29.
Thank you, Steam. Thank you, Gibbon.
$60 should be around 239, 229. So yeah, this is pretty cheap.
Are you buying it?
No.
Are you buying it?
I don't have a gaming PC. I'm happy on console.
Speaking of Monhan, I played Dauntless last week, and
Oh.
yeah, just a bit, okay, I played Dauntless, okay, and then I cannot get it to medium graphical setting, even though I'm on 1050 Ti. It's pretty demanding. It's demanding, even though the art style is not really that 3D or something. It's sort of flat colors and everything, but it's still so taxing on my hardware. What kind of shit they're doing? They're using Unreal. It's not even their own proprietary engine.
Same with me. I tried on Dauntless, but I turned off immediately after I've known that. Okay, first they had the bugs during the early launch. It's now fixed. You can play, but it's very unoptimized. I don't recommend you jumping in right now. Just yet. It's a
Unless
good
you have
game.
1080 Ti, you can play highest graphic setting. If you have mid-range card, low mid, like 1050 Ti, just forget it. Unless you can really play with sub 60 FPS with the lower setting.
Dauntless is still a long way to go. So yeah.
Yeah, long way.
Get Monster Hunter instead.
Get Monster.
Okay,
more
next
police
headline.
experience.
I feel bad for that because I want to support smaller devs as well, but like Dauntless is really fighting an uphill battle right now, especially with that too. Next headline: Code Vein has been delayed to 2019. Welp. Surprise! 2019 is like only 5 months away, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I read about something on Reddit. They say like, oh, Monster Hunter is gonna get released on PC within the next month, and they were like, our sale will be dropped like this. We bring it forward and put some good excuse on it, and literally a lot of people just maybe, the theory might be correct, and so Reddit gossip.
Code Vein was scheduled for August, right?
Yeah, but it has a full gameplay ready, but they say they want to polish some stuff.
Can I just say something? Like, I've been watching the gameplay for Code Vein, and it looks like, this is purely speculation on my part, but it looks like Bamco is trying to get rid of FromSoft because it's a Dark Souls-like game not made by FromSoft but published by Bamco, right?
Yeah.
So, and it really suffers for it. Like, it looks like it cannot decide if it wants to be a AAA game, like a generic AAA RPG, or if it wants to be like a Souls-like game. Because
the struggles
the art style is very anime, but the gameplay is very Dark Souls. So there's like this huge cognitive dissonance there, like, because
you realize
the main character looks like fucking Cloud or whatever, right? So you expect like, oh, this super cool like rapid move, and suddenly he's moving at like Dark Souls speed, and you're like, is this a good idea? This is like, I was watching gameplay, it's so bad.
Can we get some buffs in the game?
No, it's just like decide which one you want, because the reason why Dark Souls gets away with it is because because the art style is very very gothic, so you're okay with like slower moving stuff, but this one is like everything looks like anime but it moves super slow, so you're like, and plus you have the AI character that follows you around and attacks, and I'm just like, can I turn him off, please? Because in Dark Souls, like, stuff like positioning is very important. I don't want some AI ruining my positioning or whatever.
Solo is the best way to go.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, please decide, pick a direction, because I'm calling it now. This whole we can't decide whether to be anime or Dark Souls thing is going to be a problem in future. So just decide, please, Bamco, and don't you dare screw FromSoft over.
Well, that becomes a topic on its own already. Okay, good. Okay, and one more thing. Before we move on to the last bit, this is going to be controversial. There was an F1 Esports Pro Draft that happened, and it's Daniel needs to chime in.
For this year's F1 Esport, they have bring in the real teams. So every F1 team besides Ferrari are chiming in as usual. But the most interesting part, the world champion of the last year's esports is not present. Yeah, he's not present.
It's not present. Why?
I don't think
Don't know.
he doesn't.
The second.
No, from what I've understand, the pro draft is that you can for the top 3 players, they can choose to not participate in the pro draft or not, and also
I think because it's a draft. Draft means you pick something. Maybe they are already signed with the team.
Yes,
that's why they are not joining.
And it's the thing. If you notice that the around 4 teams did not sign more than one person. One person is the mandatory pick. So for each of the team participating here, they need to pick at least one from the whole 40 players that arrived, and those 40 players had to underwent like physical tests, sim racing tournaments. So they are being evaluated by scouts here and there, Yep. So it's very demanding. So you need to at least pick one of them, make their day, because oh boy, you see the emotions. These boys, when they got picked, oh, I got signed to Williams, so happy. Oh, the guy that got signed to Mercedes was literally you couldn't form sentences until at the back end. Oh, these guys are really living the dream. And then even they had F1 drivers, Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly appeared for the picks, announced the picks, which is actually even more it gives legitimacy to the things lah. It doesn't mean that F1 esports is a separate thing, but F1 really wants esports to be part of their program.
Yep.
Yeah, because maybe they have talented drivers who have talents in the virtual world, but they are not fit enough to drive. They are not fit maybe physically, and they don't have the financial capacity to drive professionally in physical world. So the virtual world, you go. It is a good thing. It's like we are giving chance. We are making sure that these kids also can live the dream of an F1 driver, even though it's not a physical F1 driver. You can still get the title of virtual F1 driver, virtual F1 professional driver.
I don't know, virtual F1 driver. Keep an eye.
Soon TM.
Imagine next year there's a draft pick, and then suddenly there's a one AI driver over there. Oh boy, they had to pick an AI driver. But yeah, some of the interesting picks. Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff happening there as well. Looking forward to what will happen. And yeah, let's move on to the last topic for the day. Yeah, it's the ArenaNet controversy. The Guild Wars 2 developers that have been fired, 2 of them in fact, over, well, the simplest way to put it is over Twitter arguments. But Anand, can you explain more about the whole thing? Because this is a lot of haram willing.
Okay, this is gonna be quite long. This is gonna be quite political. So if you're on either spectrum, left or right, or centrist, or left centrist or right centrist, yeah, you have your own opinions. So we are going to tell this as let's say I'm not saying objective, right? As the right way to see this. Okay, we have our own bias. Yeah, we have our own biases. But we are saying, okay, we have our own biases, and you can detect our own biases, so you can make your own opinions. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's this developer named Jessica Price from in ArenaNet. So one day, okay, so recently she had done an AMA, Ask Me Anything, on Reddit. So question and answer with the community of Guild Wars 2 and everything. And then after that, she continued with some of her opinion on a certain topic. Let's say it's player character or something. Basically a narrative. How to build a narrative, a character narrative. Okay, so she continued part of the AMA, but she considered as her own opinion in her Twitter. So she tells this and that with a thread in her Twitter, and by the end of it, someone from the community, so his name is The Raw Gaming. So his handle is The Raw Gaming, part of the Guild Wars 2, very prominent community, well known within the game. He sort of started a discussion with Jessica Price, saying, okay, I like your opinion, Jessica Price, but I think there's some slight disagreement, so blah 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 blah, and it goes on, okay, and then she basically flipped out on Deroa. She said,
Oh boy.
yeah, she flipped out. She said, so she discredits Deroa by saying, she gets angry at Deroa for giving his opinion on her personal private Twitter account, even though she doesn't privatize it. She put it on public and she has followers and stuff. Yeah, and she lashes out some verbal disagreement, which are quite harsh, unwarranted on Deroa, because Deroa just wanted to start some healthy discussions. Okay, okay, you have your opinion, I have my opinion. Okay, then one of the reason that she lashes out is that, oh, some rando asshats come and tell me what to do. They don't even work on the game and they tell me what to do, a dev what to do. Okay, a condescending voice from Jessica Price, even though she just typed it. Okay, and some arguments follow, and then she's basically got fired by the CEO of ArenaNet. Okay. So
And there's also one of the other employee that defended
yeah.
her as well, got fired as well.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe some of you listening like, oh, okay, she maybe verbally attacking us or written attack on a community member. Maybe firing is too harsh. Yeah, maybe you have some points, but the reason is that Jessica Price have stated publicly that she is an employee of ArenaNet. So her Twitter account, while being her personal space, quote unquote, she also represents ArenaNet as an employee, and she liable to any good and bad images or bad PR to ArenaNet, whatever she does. Just like any other companies, right? If you're an employee, you are liable to uphold the best of values in your public image so that it doesn't stain the company's image, right?
Yep.
And this is a gaming company whereby the customers and the developer basically like very close and very tight knit. So any bad PR is surely gonna resonate even outside of the community, and it's giving a bad name. Okay, so and then previously already talked about Kotaku Compete, so getting shut down, and one of the negative things is that they are pretty biased towards some opinion on why there are not a lot of women in esports in Overwatch League specifically, and why Gregory is the only one. Okay, so the main narrative, the main mindset behind this Jessica Price and some of the Kotaku Compete articles biases is that extreme feminism, extreme left wing feminism. Okay,
Oh.
to the point where Jordan Peterson, one of the clinical psychologists from Canada, he's quite popular on YouTube. Okay, he said this movement of neo-Marxism has penetrated our life. Our organization, our every facets of life have been started to be invaded by this neo-Marxist feminist agenda. Okay, if this is too heavy for you, so let me get this maybe down a level. So Jessica Price, in her arguments, she doesn't say just normal verbal like, oh, you stupid, you dumb, you can't, or something. Not like that. She pushes she push a narrative that, oh, men are discrediting women in gaming industry. Anything women do is being discredited. They have no place in the game industry. So she pushes a narrative of the oppressive patriarchy against women. So
No.
women are the victim. So this is very prevalent, not just in gaming, but in corporate world too. So maybe you've heard of things like, okay, we have a movement for women, empowering women, and something. So it is a good thing, basically. Like, okay, give more power to the women, go for it. But the notion that the reason behind all of this, the lack of women in certain industries such as gaming, does not necessarily mean the patriarchy is the fault of it. And the label neo-Marxist that some has put it, because Marxism, the philosophy of Marxism is that you are dividing people into classes. Like you have classes. So in classical Marxism, you have the economic Marxism, you have the proletariat and the bourgeoisie. Proletariat is the oppressed one, the layman, the farmers, and the bourgeoisie is the rich, the capitalists. So the oppressor. So neo-Marxism means that you're applying this classical Marxism into a new angle. So in this feminism angle of neo-Marxist is that men are the oppressor, men are the bourgeoisie, while the females and the minorities, the LGBTQ, the black people or something, they are the oppressed, they are the proletariat. So this is dangerous because
sorry,
yeah.
I don't mean to derail you,
Yeah.
but I can see what you're saying in relation to the subject, right?
Yeah.
Like in this specific case.
Yeah.
But are you saying that in general this is also bad?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then that's where we have a disagreement here, because literally, like, just look at Malaysia, right? For example. And sorry, this is going to be a huge like spanner in the works.
Yeah, it's fine.
Is like, you cannot have women succeed without someone yelling mana tudung. I think that's pretty, like, there is definitely a system that is not favoring women and minorities. You can't even have like a non-Malay finance minister without people getting upset. I think there is some truth to the fact that there is a patriarchy at work. I don't know how applicable it is specific to this story, because I have not researched to it, but to say that the whole system is a fabrication is a bit stretching it.
Okay. The cases that I'm talking about is mostly like, in the western side of the world. Okay, so in Malaysia, I have to agree that there are some biases in terms of let's say against the minority, but this is another case because the psyche behind Malaysians specifically is that the majority are Malay Muslims. So the conservatism psychology of Malay Muslim have permeated within us, even in the politics. So you cannot run from the Malay Muslim narrative because this is the majority. So
I feel like we're going to get this podcast banned. Like, we've been trying everything we can to
It's
get this
not
podcast.
the porn, but it's the politics.
This is like the most scandalous.
The waifu
thing.
side is okay.
This is a good constructive discussion because I probably want to open your mind, but don't accept my opinions. Okay, take this as a opening way to you to delve into some of the politics. Okay, so the psyche behind Malaysia is that even though the recent government wins, okay, so we have a new government, right? So what the main reason that the new government won is that we want to kick the old prime minister. We want to kick the Mr. Najib, Datuk Seri Najib. That's the main reason. Okay, it's not about the promises of the current government or the this, the that, the competence. No, the main reason that the majority of people, in this case, read Malay Muslims, they kick out the old government is that because of our former prime minister. So when the government comes in, the new government comes in, okay, so the psyche, the psychology of Malay Muslim, it's a good thing. It's the right word. Still within us, within the majority of the people. So yeah, I don't know how can this connect, but yeah,
Yeah.
you
I want
you
to
get both.
bring back the whole conversation into the whole debacle about the ArenaNet fires.
Yeah.
Can
Okay,
we get
maybe
back to that?
some international viewers may not understand. Okay, we back to the Jessica Price. Okay,
Yeah,
so
we don't even have viewers, let alone international viewers.
maybe one or two, but it's fine. Yeah, you can just skip that. Okay, but back to the Jessica Price stuff. Okay, she's being very vocal in the wrong narrative. So instead of saying, okay, you have no right, instead of saying condescendingly, you have no right because you are not in the industry, she's saying that, oh, you are male and you are oppressing me as a woman in game development because you are a male, you are part of the patriarchy.
I feel sorry for that guy.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
yeah.
because she said, okay, oh, I thought ArenaNet is a safe space for women, but apparently the CEO is also a part of the patriarchy because he's firing me because I'm a woman and I'm not allowed to voice my opinion. You're voicing the wrong opinion, that's why you're being kicked out.
And you're putting your ArenaNet in a negative light for your comments, basically.
Yeah.
And I seen a old Twitch clip of the guy, Detroit, right? What's his name? Detroit. The YouTuber. I saw one of these clips. Like he was praising Jessica Price for her work in the game. That was like what 2 years ago. So, oh yo, that bites back hard.
Okay, so my maybe my rambling earlier, maybe some of you may not understand, or maybe I went too far.
Yeah, it's okay.
Maybe you don't understand, but the gist of it is that she voiced her opinion, and her opinion get disagreed, and she takes it as mansplaining. She takes it as an attack on women in gaming, and she got kicked. That's all. That's it.
Okay.
I cannot find any articles that actually say what was said, because I'm trying to make my own judgment on this, but no site wants to actually report what was said to either side.
You can just read the Twitter, maybe because it's too long. They a lot of them just say, okay, we don't want to read the tweets. You can just go and find it. I don't know whether it's still available or not. Yeah. And also, Jessica Price also celebrated Total Biscuit's death. She happy, and that's already a red flag.
Yeah, that's huge.
Because a lot of people misunderstood. They said are against Total Biscuits, especially during the Gamergate issue. So yeah, that the extreme feminists on the feminist side saying that, okay, Total Biscuit is an anti-women in gaming. So Jessica Price being happy means that, okay, she's on that spectrum of belief, already a red flag.
My take on the whole issue is just this. I've seen both sides of the conversation. Well, not that much, but okay. So from the most vocal side, which is siding with Jessica Price, some of them are quoting such as the things the very tweets, the series of tweets that the YouTuber pointed out is basically the equivalent of saying to a person that is very well technically versed on, let's say, the internet connection, right? Do you can you restart a router, or do you turn on and turn off the router again? So to the point that what I'm saying is that from their perspective, this is basically not just mansplaining, but basically to telling a very experienced people in the industry, in the work field, to do their job like this. But when the reality is they already know that stuff, they know what they say is true, but we just have other things that that cannot be done. So like one of the complaints, I think, was not complaints but rather constructive criticisms, is how about branching dialogues? There's probably a lot of problems when they're trying to implement branching dialogues in an MMO. There's probably a lot of other things that's
Yeah,
going behind the
that's
scenes. So
that,
basically, yeah. So basically, there's that perspective as well, and it doesn't help Jessica Price's case where she has a history of basically going into flames, speaking very loudly in very demeaning manner. It doesn't help her case, even though when you look at that perspective, it has some truth in it. So yeah, it's a very tricky situation for ArenaNet. I don't know if I don't know what I'm go if I was in the CEO's shoes. I still don't know what to do. Maybe if let's say a hard reprimand is enough. I don't know. She has some history with her Twitter conversations going that way. So it's
here's
like a situation.
here's here's my problem, right? Uh like again, because I don't know what was actually said to her, so I cannot comment on the thing. But yeah, like we you have to call a spade a spade. If she was being a dick to people on Twitter, then yeah, then sure, action should be taken. Like, 'cause you end up, whether you want to or not, once you engage with people on Twitter, then guess what? You are now officially part of PR.
Mhm.
So you have that on one hand. On the other, like, I can sympathize with feeling like stressed out over all this, because yeah, fucking, like, especially after an AMA. 'Cause you said it's continued after an AMA, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's just like, because when you're working again, you don't even have to be a woman. It's just when you're working in game dev, everyone has an opinion on how you could be doing better. And it doesn't help that some people don't understand the difference between an MMO and a single player RPG. So everyone's like, I want branching dialogue, I want a persistent world, I want blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I can understand the frustration, but, and again, I don't know what the guy said, so I cannot like fully comment on it. Pure speculation on my part. But
And the worst thing is that she may I still see it as something worse, is that she doesn't see it as her fault, even though she lashed out in incessantly at the guy. She still thinks that she is at the right side. She doesn't think that her lashing out is the wrong thing.
yeah, so that's a whole thing again. And unless, like, I can get a transcript of what was actually said, which I have still been unable to find this entire time. I've been searching for it. Then not much else you can comment on it. But yeah, that's this week in Twitter drama.
And probably one of the reason that she got fired is that she already had bad PR, let's say, from the Toto Biscuit comment celebration and everything.
Yeah, that can.
This is just a nail in the coffin. Is that okay? You've done enough bad damage to our public relation, to our image. You're out. That's it.
Mhm.
And the whole week I tried to avoid this topic for so long, but yeah, it's not because I don't want to talk about it. Well, you know, the podcast time is already, this is the longest so far. This is the longest so far.
Already longer than last week or so?
Yep, this is the
I thought-
longest.
We started at like 10:30 or something like.
Probably the longest. I don't know, but it could be longer. But we skip a lot of the news pieces. So I think enough with the headlines is totally enough. So yeah, the end of the podcast, and the only thing I can imagine doing the thumbnail with is that very well sculpted Gundam butt and a beach volleyball. Because the whole guild boss thing stopped me from thinking anything else.
Hold on. Let me take a quick cheeky look at the doc and see what we have here. God damn it! I fucking closed.
We had the Rocket League cars. We have Hammond,
I just put in
Whatever.
Warhammer.
Oh, Hammond on a beach ball. Hammond on a beach ball.
Hammond, the wrecking ball is colored
Yeah.
as a volleyball. Yeah. It's a beach ball. Well, that's a
And
lot of work.
the Rocket League car is coming to bump it up.
The pop, yeah. And its trajectory is at the trajectory. It will be hitting on the Gundam butt. On the Gundam butt.
For Hammond, I have an idea. Okay, Hammond, his ball changed to beach ball.
Okay.
Body Hammond, head Richard Hammond.
On top of the volleyball is Richard Hammond. So where are we going to put the cops? PDR is watching everything.
No, you put it on a stock image of a computer. Like you put it as the image.
Oh,
on
the whole thing is on the computer screen.
And don't forget the website tag with HTTP is tagline is
www.pornhub.com/.
pornhub.com. Child porn.
Okay. Yep, that's settled then.
We got it.
We got it. So that's episode X of dia.log-The Game Matters podcast. And thanks for listening in. Yes, we did ramble a lot in certain parts, and hopefully for those who are listening in Anchor, our audio only main hub destination for all our dia.log-The Game Matters podcast hub, you have the feature to skip some of the segments if you wish, if you use the Anchor app. But otherwise, we are also available in various so many. Let me check how much
YouTube,
we have.
Spotify.
Hold on. For those who are listening in. Goodness. So if you need to find us on the audio only side, it is dia.log, the Game Matters podcast, Anchor FM, anchor.fm/dialogue. And you can find it us elsewhere on waiting for the download on Apple Podcasts /iTunes, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Castbox, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, and also YouTube with the video feed. So there's plenty of avenues and destinations and apps that you may choose to listen to us rambling for 2 hours. And please spread the word. And also,
if you're going to be at Visual Arts Expo on the first day at 4 p.m, dia.log live, we talk about video games.
Oh my god.
I wonder what happened though.
Oh my god. Press X to sadness. And yes, if you we should give our promos soon enough. But hey, if you have the time, come say hi. We will update to you where the venue is. Check our social channels on Twitter and Facebook, or also on gamermatters.com, where we should have our promo, our details on the panel soon enough. So yeah, that should be it. That's your lot. Oh, I really wanted to say that. That's your lot for this week, for this episode. I've been watching too much F1. So yeah.
Stay with me.
Thankfully, we didn't have a extended F1 segment. Thankfully. And hold on. We need to shield.
Yeah.
Your links, your social links.
Yeah, my social links. Follow me at Wamerol on Twitter, Cruise Crusader Wamerol on Facebook. I'm going to be at VAX next on July 21st, 22nd. I'm also going to be at AMG. I just recently got confirmed for that. August 18th, 19th. I am doing digital pre-orders for commissions. So if you want me to paint your mecha waifu, I will just send me the money. I will paint it. I will print it, and I will give it to you at the convention. Do that so I can afford that butt Gundam once it comes out.
Hey, Daniel.
Alright, follow me at Twitter at Flaky FF4KY, and also my PSN account, Nurakami. If you want to play, I don't know, FIFA or something.
Again, Nurakami.
Nurakami, Nurakami. I am I.
Norakimi.
Then,
Okay.
Daniel, do you want to stream when we play Frontier Defense together for Titanfall?
I haven't bought it yet.
Oh, it's on the list. Alright. And next, Anan.
Yeah, you can. Before that, if you reach until this part, congratulations, because we are rambling quite long. And especially the last part where I really hope that if you are not interested, you skip it because I probably have a lot of inconsistencies in my explanation. So yeah, because on average, like if I listen to a podcast more than an hour long, I will only stop at the 1 hour mark. So I hope you don't reach that. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. So you can follow me on Facebook, Azure Dekat. You can find the link in the YouTube description below if you're listening in this on YouTube. And that's my only social channel that I'm willing to share with you guys. Because
Yeah,
I
he doesn't
I
share his
literally-
Pornhub account.
Oh,
Mm.
no, obsessed.
I don't have any other social channels. I'm an ambivert. I enjoy being by myself, and I enjoy being company of others, but in a limited time.
Remember that time when that girl on that podcast? Irham, you next.
Okay, follow me on Facebook, Naga Senpai for cool art and then memes. Follow me on Twitter, Naga Kohai for great art tweets. I don't post art there, just retweets. And I'll be there at Asia Comic Con this Friday and Saturday to haul your merch if it's really good. I buy. And that's about it.
And last but not least, you can find the host, your host, Amirul Mekronos Ashraf, Mekronos Meckrono, Meckronos.
CFIR, yes, this song.
Hey!
Hey! Everywhere, but mostly find me on Twitter. So if you listen to the end of the podcast, add me and say that I've listened to the end of the podcast and clap. And that's your log for the log X. Thank you for listening in and see you at Vex. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Yeah.